morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Today we're going to be reading Chapter 5, DNA in Plants and Animals, to go along with our science unit for the month. Yesterday we read Chapter 4, and it talked about different types of traits or talents that you could inherit from your parents or your grandparents. And we noticed that Josh and his dad share the same trait or talent because they're able to throw fastballs, and Josh's dad and grandfather were a pitcher. We also learned that Claire and her mom share the same talent in which they love to sing, and also Claire's grandmother has a great singing voice as well. You also completed a life skills activity which talked about all of the different talents that you have, and I really enjoyed seeing them. So today we're going to be reading Chapter 5 like I said, and we're going to go over our focus question. What do DNA and genes give people? Traits or food? I'm going to read it again, and I want you to think about an answer. And then after we're done reading our story, we're going to go back and revisit our focus question, and you can see that after, based on our readings and comprehension questions, if your answer was correct or incorrect. So I'm going to read the focus question one more time. What do DNA and genes give people? Traits or food? Now we're going to go over the 5 vocab words that we're going to be hearing in our story, and one of them you should be familiar with since one of them was yesterday's vocabulary word in our Chapter 4 reading. You can follow along and read with me or repeat back after me. Plants, dog, seed, look, and DNA. DNA was something that we heard about yesterday in our Chapter 4 reading, which we noticed that everybody's DNA is very similar but a little bit different, and it's made up of many cells. So materials that we are going to need today and found in your packet is the Chapter 5 reading, DNA in Plants and Animals, and then your comprehension questions. Multiple choice for those of you that complete the multiple choice, and then fill in the blank for those of you that complete the fill in the blank. Everybody's going to need a pencil and a correcting tool, and for those of you that complete the fill in the blank questions, you're going to need scissors to cut out your pictures and then glue or tape to glue them. I'm going to go over the materials one more time. So we are going to need the Chapter 5 reading, DNA in Plants and Animals, comprehension questions for those of you that complete the multiple choice, and then comprehension questions for those of you that complete the fill in the blank. Everybody's going to need a pencil and a correcting tool, and for those of you that complete the fill in the blank questions, you're going to need scissors to cut out your answers, and then glue or tape to glue them. If you need extra time gathering those materials, pause the video here and then press play when you have everything in front of you. So now we're going to begin reading Chapter 5 together, and you're going to follow along with me, and I will pause at some points in the story to go over some key detail in the story. So here we go. Chapter 5, DNA in Plants and Animals. Josh is like his family. He likes being the same as his family. He also likes being different. So remember, we share some similar traits, so same traits with our family, but we also share some different traits with our family. Josh has a dog named Sage. Sage is a small brown dog. She runs fast. Sage had 3 puppies. Josh thinks about dogs. Do they have genes too? Will the puppies look like Sage? So now Josh's pet dog Sage had puppies. So now Josh is wondering, because since Josh and his sister Claire look like their parents, will Sage's puppies look like her? So animals and plants have DNA. Dogs have genes. Genes tell what dogs will look like. Josh watches the puppies. 1 puppy has brown fur. She looks like Sage. 2 puppies are running fast. They act like Sage. So now Josh notices that one of the puppies looks exactly like Sage. They both have brown fur. Josh also notices that 2 of the puppies are running fast, and Sage loves to run fast. So those 2 puppies share the same traits or talents as Sage. Sage and her puppies look the same. They act the same, but they are a little different. Sage and her puppies share some genes. They do not share all of their genes. So now Josh notices that the 3 puppies that his dog Sage has had, they all act the same and they all look the same. But they're all a little bit different too. So that means that they've probably got some genes from their mother Sage. Josh looks around the garden. He sees different plants. Some have short leaves, some have long leaves. Plants have DNA too. So now Josh realizes that not only do animals have genes and DNA, but Josh realizes that plants also carry DNA too. Plants grow from seeds. The plant seed has DNA. The plants look the same. The plants share genes. Plants, animals, and people have genes. So now Josh knows that when the plants grow from seeds, in the seed there is the DNA. And the DNA basically says is going to show us when the plants grow what they look like. Do they have short leaves? Do they have long leaves? So now Josh realizes that not only do people share genes and have genes, but plants share genes and animals share genes. So now we're going to read answer our comprehension questions based on our story. For those of you that have the multiple choice questions, make sure that you begin putting your first and last name at the top of the paper. For those of you that have the fill in the blank questions, start cutting out those 5 pictures on the back, the last page in here, and then get your glue or tape ready. You might have to pause the video here to cut out those pictures because I'm going to read question number 1 of the multiple choice and then go and read question number 1 of the fill in the blank questions. Remember, for those of you that are completing the fill in the blank questions, you're going to circle your answer that best completes the question. For those of you that are completing the fill in the blank questions, I'm going to mess it up. Multiple choice, you're circling your answer. The fill in the blank questions, we're having a choice of 2 and then choosing our answer to fill in the blank. Okay, question number 1 of the multiple choice. What is this chapter about? Cats and clouds, whales and trees, plants and dogs. Question number 1 on the fill in the blank. Sage is a small brown plants, dog, seed, look, or DNA. Number 2, fill in the blank. Multiple choice. What is Sage? A baby, a dog, or a fish? Circling the correct answer. Number 2 on fill in the blank. Animals and plants have blank. Plants, dog, seeds, look, or DNA. Question number 3 on the multiple choice. What do animals and plants have? DNA, clothes, or cars? Question number 3 on the fill-in. Sage and her puppies blank the same. Plants, dogs, seed, look, or DNA. Question number 4 on the multiple choice. What part of a plant has DNA? The water, the seed, or the soil? Question number 4 on the fill-in. The plant blank has DNA. The plant plants, dog, seed, look, or DNA. Question number 5 on the multiple choice. Remember, you're bubbling in the circle. What is important to know about this chapter? Plants, animals, and people have genes. All dogs are small and brown, or all plants have purple flowers. Then question number 5 on the fill-in. Blank, animals, and people have genes. Plants, dog, seed, look, or DNA? For those of you that have the fill-in-the-blank questions, if you need anything reread to you, you can always rewind the video to that spot to help you fill in the rest of the questions. If you have completed all of your fill-in-the-blank questions, you're just going to sit tightly while we go over some additional multiple choice questions before we correct our work. For those of you that have the multiple choice questions, let's flip our paper over so we can answer our additional questions. Remember, these questions might have more than one correct answer. We're focusing on just getting at least one of the answer. If you think the question has two answers, feel free to bubble in more than one circle. So question number 6. What says what a dog will look like? Genes, people, or food? Question number 7 we are not going to answer because we didn't read the part of what type of plants that Josh sees. Number 8, how do the plants in the garden look different? They have tall stems, they have round leaves, or they have different colors. Question number 9, we're also not going to answer because we did not read the part going into more in depth about the DNA of the plants that Josh sees in his garden. So we're going to skip to number 10, and I want to challenge you on this one. Number 10 is, how do plants get their DNA? So remember, what makes plants grow might help you answer this question. They get DNA from the sun, the DNA is in the seed dropped by another plant, or they get their DNA from dogs. Okay, for those of you that just finished completing the multiple choice questions, if you need to go back to hear one of them, rewind the video to that point so you can help you fill in your answer. Now we're going to be correcting our work. So everyone needs to get out their correcting tool. Remember, if you get it right, you'll put a check. If you get it wrong, you'll put an X, and then just circle the correct answer so we can learn from our mistakes. Same thing for those of you with the fill in the blank. If you get it right, put a check. If you get it wrong, you can try peeling it off and fixing it with the correct answer. So number 1 on the multiple choice. What is this chapter about? Cats and clouds, whales and trees, plants and dogs. The correct answer is plants and dogs. Question number 1 on the fill-in. Sage is a small brown dog is your fill-in. Number 2 on the multiple choice. What is sage? A baby, a dog, or a fish? The correct answer is sage is a dog. Number 2 on the fill-in. Animals and plants have blank. The correct answer is DNA. Animals and plants have DNA. Number 3 on the multiple choice. What do animals and plants have? DNA, clothes, or cars? The correct answer is DNA. Number 3 on the fill-in. Sage and her puppies blank the same. So Sage and her puppies look the same. Remember, they all have the same color fur as Sage, which is brown. Number 4 of the multiple choice. What part of a plant has DNA? Water, seed, or soil? The correct answer is the seed. Number 4 on the fill-in. The plant blank has DNA. The correct answer is seed. And that is the part in which we plant into the ground to watch our plant grow. And question number 5 on the multiple choice. What is important to know about this chapter? Plants, animals, and people have genes. All dogs are small and brown. All plants have purple flowers. The correct answer is plants, animals, and people have genes. Number 5 on the fill-in. Blank, animals, and people have genes. The correct answer is plants. For those of you that have the fill in the blank, just hang tight. We're going to answer just the last 3 questions of the multiple choice. So number 6, what says what a dog will look like? Genes, people, or food? The correct answer is genes. determine what the dog would look like. In this case, Sage's puppies all share some of the same genes, such as they all look alike by having brown fur, and they all share the same trait as Sage. Sage runs fast, and her 3 puppies run fast also, but they also look a little bit different. Number 7 we skipped, going to 8. How do the plants in the garden look different? They have tall stems, round leaves, or different colors? The correct answer is round leaves. So in our part of the story, Josh noticed that some of the plant's leaves are short or long. And so I challenged you on this question because I wanted to see if you were able to pick up on, they were really focusing on the leaves. And then number 9 we skipped, and then number 10. How do plants get their DNA? They get DNA from the sun, or they get DNA in the seed dropped by another plant. And they get their DNA from dogs, and the correct answer is B. The DNA is in the seed dropped by another plant. And we're going to be talking more about that in our life skills activity. So now I just would like to recap our focus question. I hope you remember what you answered previously before we started our lesson, so you can check your answer. Our focus question was, what do DNA and genes give people, traits, or food? And the correct answer is traits. They give us different traits, also known as talents. We're going to revisit and review our vocab words. You can read along with me or repeat back after me. Plants, dog, seed, look, and DNA. So in our Chapter 5 reading today, DNA in Plants and Animals, Josh talked about how he noticed that he is the same as his family, but also different than his family. We also learned that Josh had a dog named Sage, and Sage had 3 puppies. So Josh was wondering if dogs have genes, and they do. All Sage's puppies look like her. They all have brown fur, and Sage loves to run fast, and her 3 puppies also love to run fast, so they share the same traits. Josh also notices about the different types of plants in his garden, and he wonders now if plants have DNA. And he noticed that some of the leaves are short and some of the leaves are long, and plants have DNA too. The DNA is found in the seeds, and the plants grow from the seeds. So depending on the plant, some plants share genes. So now Josh knows that animals, plants, and people have genes. So that is going to be it for reading today. Remember to send me a picture of your comprehension questions so I can view them. And then after reading, it's going to be time for life skills. And I will explain our video in our life skills, and I'll explain our work in our life skills video. So I'll see you all in life skills.